and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about
comic books, costumes, facts,
Boots.
and other stuff.
In this week's issue, Black Condor.
Welcome into episode 1 of Bros, Foes, and Heroes. I'm your host, Zach, joined by my co-host, the Twitch to my Sam, if you will, Mike.
Hey, how you doing?
I've determined, and I told you about this, that I'm just going to go ahead and just make us a dynamic duo every single episode. So we start with Spawn, and we'll see where we wind up by the end of the, or later on here in the show.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, no. And plus, it just, I get to get some of this nerd information out of my head. But basically what we have here in our show on Bros, Foes, and Heroes, just to lay it down and what you can expect every time you tune in, is we are going to take a look at a hero, a supervillain, somebody, a comic book character who definitely needs a deeper dive. There's some that everybody knows. Then there's those that people don't know. That could be one of two things. Either just you read about them and you wonder why you haven't seen them in some form of media or why you don't know more about them, or you read about them and you realize why don't you know about them because they're absolute train wrecks.
Right, right.
And today, Mike.
So like a Zack Snyder movie.
Well, it depends. Are we talking early Zack Snyder or later Zack Snyder?
Yeah, I guess it's unfair to say that about Zack Snyder. I mean, the first movies are great. I mean, Sucker Punch and 300. I mean,
I love
that's some
both of
great
those
stuff. And you and I were trying to figure out what the third one was yesterday. Yeah. It was, wasn't it the one where, maybe that's Sucker Punch. I can't remember. It seems like Nazi robots or something. But was that Sucker Punch?
That might be because I feel like every single scene in Sucker Punch, like when they do one of the big action scenes, it's a little different. They have the one in like, for lack of a better term, kind of like a not dojo, but like, older, like there's like, there's like a samurai battle. And then there is one that it feels like it's World War II because they're all dressed like bomber girls kind of.
Don't they climb a big Nazi robot at the end?
Maybe there's a dragon in one of them too.
Am I remembering this wrong?
Well, I don't know. The more I'm thinking about it, I'm throwing it out here. It's kind of, there's a lot of ridiculousness in that movie, but I still love it.
Oh yeah. No, here's the thing with those kind of movies. I mean, you're supposed to be able to turn your brain off.
Yeah.
It's a comic book.
Exactly.
Even 300 is a comic book.
Yeah.
It's a great comic book movie.
And I think sometimes you have to remember that so you're not like, oh, that kind of seems a little unrealistic.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. I look up Zack Snyder and I get stunt guy, Scott the Woz. I don't know. I don't know what that means. And then an MMA fighter. So I don't know. Maybe I'm spelling that wrong.
Well, I told you about, he directed one of the most frightening kids movies I've ever seen, and it was called The Owls of Ga'Hoole.
Ga'Hoole?
Yeah, like I watched, like there's a owl that has like a completely metal beak. Like it's super just for children. I just don't get it. We talked about The Watchmen. We talked about 300.
Right. Oh yeah, Watchmen. Yeah, Watchmen, I completely forgot about
Dawn of the Dead. Basically anything up to Man of Steel. Man of Steel was okay.
Man of Steel was, but that's the thing about all these movies. They're okay. You never come away from like Justice League going, God, that was great. I want to watch it again immediately.
That's a very valid point. Oh, great. Real quick before I get back in, his next movie, he's doing Fountainhead, as in like the Ayn Rand book that's that big.
Yeah.
So we're going to get like a 5-hour Zack Snyder movie.
Jeez. See, that's what you get whenever you give him the power to go back and redo that stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Speaking of Zack Snyder, have you watched the Justice League, the Snyder Cut yet?
Yeah, I did.
Did you watch it all in one sitting, or did you?
Yeah, my wife and I both watched it all in one sitting. And we looked at each other and said, we're going to need that time back when we're dying.
See, maybe I was just smarter in breaking it up in chunks. And so I was able to get it done that way, and it felt a little more palatable.
Yeah.
I liked it more. That to say, I didn't think that the Justice League movie to begin with was that great.
No, the Justice League movie to begin with is not that great, and addition to that doesn't make it better. I couldn't really tell you what was new until we got to the end and those two things happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess spoiler alert here.
Yeah.
But Martian Manhunter, really? He just shows up outside of Batman's house?
Yeah.
Hey, Batman, how's it going? Let's all save the world. And then we're drugged through this post-apocalyptic weirdo thing that's going on, and nothing is explained.
No. And the thing is, though, nothing's explained here, and I still feel like they did a better job explaining certain things from the first one. Like, that's how bad the first one was just.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know why in the world they were in Chernobyl.
No.
Like, that was a 5-second explanation in the Snyder cut that was never. It was things like that. Yeah. But, okay. So, enough.
I just feel like you need, like, an addendum to go with the movie. Like, you know, where you can look things up real quick or whatever. You know, whenever Batman says something, he says, and by the way, refer to page 346.
So you can see what it,
because Zach was thinking this that day. He had had a big meal, you know.
And I enjoy Zack Snyder. I don't want to just completely, but he has definitely gone into the I want to produce nothing but epics.
Yeah. He's in the eccentric portion of his career at this point.
Yeah, which, I mean, I guess we'll just have to deal with.
Yeah.
All right, so enough Zack Snyder. I'm not going to say bashing, just
Get out of here, Zack Snyder.
Constructive criticism. Today's character, Mike, I talked about one of two things. Either a guy.
So can I explain something to you real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I am an old man.
I won't say that.
And as I was growing up, I think we both had this same experience. We would have the comic book store hold the comics for us, and we'd go every, Tuesday when it was release day.
Yeah, Tuesdays
and
usually.
you'd pick up your stack of whatever. Did you do that?
No, I wish I could have.
Really?
Mine was, and I'm not trying. See, that's a way cooler thing. Mine was, I would get them every now and then, and when I got older enough and had my own money, then I could go and get all that I wanted to. So a lot of there's a general comic book knowledge that I have from when I was a kid of the bigger ones that I would get for certain things, and obviously, like Batman the Animated Series was huge when I was a kid, so I loved everything Batman and all of that. But I feel like a lot of my knowledge comes from more of my teenage and early 20s years when I could finally go out and just soak up everything that I'd missed before.
Yeah. No, I only child, and so I had an allowance, and local comic book store would save certain titles for you in the back room, and then when you come in on Tuesday, they go, it's $24 or whatever,
and pick up your stack.
Yeah, pick up your stack.
So what was
behind the register in another room, they had the used comics. And so I would go through there and search for every Sergeant Rock I could find. That was my favorite.
Sergeant Rock.
Yeah. So I'm used to these weird characters.
Okay. Well, maybe we have to do Sergeant. I don't know Sergeant Rock.
Yeah, I don't think I do anymore either. but I loved it then.
I can remember the first comic that I had as a child was a Captain America one where he was fighting he's in this wrestling match like in space against other people. It's the 90s were weird in
Zach,
comics.
are you listening?
Yeah. There you go. Just ask Marvel if you can do this one. But I had it forever. I lost it, and I've even recently gone back and bought it, so I have that. So I still have like that issue.
That's pretty cool, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when now you can go back and find those things that you just vaguely remember existing.
Oh yeah.
I've got a movie in my head somewhere that I remember seeing at a drive-in, and I cannot for the life of me figure out what this movie is. And so it's one of those things, if I ever stumble across it, I know right then and there I'll die, because that's like my touchstone. It's just boop, there it is. All right, see you.
Figured out that movie. I guess there's nothing. All right, so today's character, he's a hero. We're going to start off on the right side of the log.
That's great. Yeah.
His name is Black Condor. His superhero name, and for this, there are 3 total incarnations of the character.
Okay.
So basically, the character was created back in the 1940s. Along the way, DC bought the rights to it. Was all Quality Comics, I believe. DC bought the rights to it. So then later on, they tried to bring back one of the characters in one way and then brought him on a third way.
Gotcha.
The guy we're going to focus on is the very first Black Condor, because his story is the best, easily. In 1992, DC brought Black Condor back. The guy's name was Ryan Kendall, and he derived his powers from a genetic experiment from his grandfather. You know, that was the time, like, all right, we're
We've
going
all
to
been
retcon.
there.
Yep.
Sure.
Yep. Grandpa doing all these scientific experiments around us. And then most recently in 2006, John Trujillo is the third Black Condor, and he's actually given his powers by a Mayan spider goddess, which is kind of cool.
A Mayan spider goddess. Sure. Okay.
It at least it's better than what we're getting into.
Yeah, I got you. Okay. Well,
and
I'm looking forward to this thing.
Yeah, and actually, if it's anybody who likes to watch the DC animated universe, the third version of Black Condor is in the Ray movie that DC put out 2 years ago.
Movie. What is that?
It was about. So there was a group called the Freedom Fighters. This is kind of back in like the 40s after DC bought this, where they grouped a lot of those quality comic characters together in like a group and called them the Freedom Fighters. So it's like the Ray, maybe Red Tornado's in it. I'm trying to remember who's all in it, but it's a group of all these older characters, and they just finally did a story. I guess they wanted to branch away from everything else.
So what does the Ray do? What's the deal? Or is that for a future show?
It could be for a future show because
I've never heard of the Ray.
On Black Condor. Really?
I'm thinking like Manta Ray.
No. The Ray is actually here. I'm looking him up right now. So the power of podcast. He was created in 1992.
Oh,
really? I thought he was older than that. Well, never mind. Either way,
his
we
like to call Zach finds out some stuff
too. We learn together. But basically, I'm just trying to find his abilities. Generation of light and solid light constructs.
Sure.
And the conversion to energy form. So apparently he can turn into energy and he can fly.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. He was he's a part of the Justice League eventually.
So, I mean, he's shooting rays out of his hands, basically. That's what he's rays.
Just simple superhero
stuff. I like that. Yeah.
Either way, the third Black Condor gets some screen time in that, if you're curious. Our guy, though, Black Condor from 1940, created by Will Eisner and Lou Fine.
Will Eisner.
Yep. Eisner known for creating The Spirit, which maybe you've read comic book wise, or you've seen the movie with Gabrielle Mock and Samuel L. Jackson and
Ooh, I don't think so.
Scarlett Johansson.
The Spirit?
And
was he wearing that weird suit, like the red, white, and blue suit?
No. It's just it's all black. You might not like it because it's very Zack Snydery. I realize that now, but it's not like Zack Snyder didn't do it. I think Robert Rodriguez might have.
Did The Spirit come out like the same time as?
It was 2008.
Oh, okay. That's way later than I thought.
Yeah, no. It's not a great movie. Like, not everybody loves it, but I do.
Why is it when I think of The Spirit, I think of a guy in like a red and white suit with like a metal helmet? I think I'm thinking of the guy from the FTD Florists. I don't know.
No. The cast for The Spirit was ridiculous. It was one of those where the cast is so good though, but nothing Samuel L. Jackson, Scarlett Johansson.
No Billy Zane though.
No, Eva Mendes is in it. Frank Miller's in it.
What's the one that Billy?
He was the Phantom.
The Phantom.
But that all purple suit with the black. Yeah,
I like that movie.
Oh, I did too as a kid.
You know why I like that movie?
Why?
All the ads and all of the billboards and stuff are all for fake products.
That is true.
I love that kind of detail.
I do like.
I think that's great.
Just
I don't want to see Marlboro behind the Phantom's head.
No, I love that the same way that I love. Did you ever watch
the T2 Pepsi machine fight?
Oh.
I don't like that.
No. Did you ever see the what was it, Grindhouse and
yeah.
I loved the fake trailers that they did between stuff like that.
Any of that stuff. Fantastic.
Totally.
Yeah.
So Black Condor
within a production.
1940, Will Eisner and Lou Fine. I want to make sure to give them credit. I'm not gonna they didn't write all of this, so obviously we're just giving them credit for the character creation and not the atrocity that's about to happen here.
I got you.
So our guy's name, his birth name, Richard Gray Jr.
Sure.
So
generic as it gets.
Exactly. His dad now is an architect.
Okay.
And he decides to take the family over to Mongolia.
Oh yeah,
and they're
beautiful Mongolia.
Exactly. Yeah. Especially in the 1940s. Like I feel like everybody wanted to go to Mongolia for some reason. So he takes the wife, not just like, hey, I'm going to go for work. I'm going to take the wife and kids with me too.
Yeah, sure.
And everybody. And
why wouldn't you?
They're looking for artifacts, whatever it might be.
Good
in
God.
Mongolia.
Okay. Not to disparage Mongolia nowadays.
It definitely doesn't seem to be a center for the comic world a lot, but in this case it is. So
maybe a food show, like if you're really into the Mongolian barbecue or whatever, maybe that's a a thing, but not necessarily take your kids.
I don't think I've ever had Mongolian barbecue. Is it good? So they're over there looking for artifacts, whatever. Raiders decide to attack the camp one night.
Uh-oh.
And these raiders are some of the most vicious raiders you've ever seen, especially from the 1940s.
Like the Los Angeles ones or the Oakland ones or...
Either way, the raiders, and I'm laughing about this, and the raiders kill everybody but the baby in the camp.
Wait, so they kill everybody but the baby?
But the baby, because his mom hides him behind a giant rock.
Sure.
And as anybody knows, if raiders are attacking your camp and you want to hide something, hide it behind a giant rock.
Especially a baby.
Yes.
Put a baby behind a giant rock, he makes no sounds.
See, and that's the thing is, I think that the rock basically maybe acts as like a damper, so it like quiets the baby noises maybe.
Okay.
So maybe the mother was onto something there and I didn't know about it.
Rocks are notorious for their soundproofing capabilities.
Exactly.
Sure.
So the raiders get whatever it is they want. It's not really explaining, they leave. So now we're left with...
They just come in and kill everybody.
They kill everybody.
All right, guys, the job's done. Bye.
That's what I'm telling you, and it gets better.
Okay.
So then we have, I'm telling you, panels of a baby crawling. And so this baby is just crawling around.
Yeah.
And this condor, this giant condor mother that we find, is watching the baby.
Okay.
Okay. And the baby's getting awfully close to falling off this ledge. Because I didn't tell you they're up in the mountains of Mongolia. I guess I should have said that.
Yeah.
So the baby's just crawling around, doesn't know better. The condor's screeching at him like, hey, watch out, you're about to go over the edge.
Sure.
Baby doesn't speak Condor.
Baby doesn't speak Condor.
No.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Which is honestly something that I think affects the youth of the day too.
Baby doesn't speak Condor.
Baby doesn't speak Condor.
Sure.
So the baby goes to climb off the edge, and the condor saves the baby. The condor feels its motherly instinct, swoops down and saves the baby. It's taken back to the condor's nest.
Okay.
Because I've watched enough Planet Earth. I know that if a baby's out in the wilderness, condors will take them and raise them as their own.
It's crazy. You can stumble across a condor nest just full of babies.
Yeah. Well, one thing that bothers little baby Richard, who now grows into boy Richard and young man Richard, I guess, eventually.
Sure. Dick at that point.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he... You have to think about this, though. And this is something I want to bring up because it'll come back earlier. This is a baby, right?
Right.
So he hasn't developed, he just knows how to crawl.
Yeah, he possibly not developed anything.
Exactly. And this condor raises him, and eventually, over time, Richard wants to fly.
Sure.
Because if his condor brothers and sisters are flying, how come he's not?
Yeah.
So he gets the bright idea of young Richard, I'm just going to jump off this hill and flap my arms.
Sure.
And you know what happens? He falls and busts his head.
He doesn't fly.
No, he doesn't. He can't fly. But he's not going to let that stop him, Mike.
Well, I mean, Orville and Wilbur.
He then decides that he's going to study his condor brothers and sisters.
Okay. That should make his bones hollow.
Yeah. Again, this is a guy we've talked about is just a baby.
Right.
So his idea of anything is very limited, but he studies them and teaches himself how to fly from watching condors.
What the hell? What?
He teaches himself how to fly from watching condors. He is a genius enough, it says, that he can determine like body weight, wind projection.
It's still not a thing.
No.
I mean, like I can study, I can study flying by watching birds, but that doesn't make me a bird.
Yeah, well, you're not as big of a genius as baby Richard was.
God.
So he sits there and somehow, without
that is a ridiculous leap.
Any training whatsoever. Oh, get ready to make some more ridiculous ones before we're done. He decides that, you know what? I think I can fly. And he learns all the math himself.
Sure.
Doesn't even know how to speak at all.
But what I'm saying is there is no math to learn. There is no math that I math hard enough. Hey, I'm going to be able to math fly. I just can't. It's not a thing.
In the 1940s, you could dream bigger, apparently. Yeah. I mean, maybe you had more arm room. You weren't all kind of bunch.
Yeah. That's probably, now that you say that, maybe you've got the arm room. Maybe you weren't distracted by phones and computers and TVs and things. All you had to do, like you could stand out there 24 hours a day and just flap your arms.
Exactly. And maybe he just did that and eventually it worked.
Okay. All right.
Either way, he, genius Richard here, learns how to fly. Not only that, he learns how to speak Condor, Mike.
Okay.
He can.
This guy is a genius.
He is. He can speak easily with his brothers and sisters.
You know,
I'm going to bring it up. It comes up later, but I'll bring it up now just because he flies into battle later and he's like squawks and he sends the other condors to attack.
Wow. You know, I studied a little pigeon in college, but I've never known any condor.
Pigeon and was that a class? Or?
Yeah, just a little pigeon. That was it. That's all I learned.
Richard
you know
has
how, like in Spanish, you only know the dirty words? Yeah, that's what that is. Oh, there they all go.
And all you do is offend pigeons.
That's right. I just offend pigeons.
Fun fact during all this, I have in my research, I have in my notes here, condors have an average lifespan of 60 years.
Okay.
Because for some reason at first I was like, there's no way that condor mom could be the same condor that he is.
Yeah.
But no, apparently so. So there you go. Fun fact. Condors live at least 60 years.
I think humans only lived about 60 years in the 40s, right?
Especially if they were trying to fly.
Yeah.
So one day he's out flying with his... Yes, he's out flying with the Condor troop, whatever they want to call themselves.
Out with his friends.
And they get attacked by a group of eagles.
Do eagles attack condors?
Apparently so in this.
When in my mind, condors are so much bigger.
They are.
Okay.
And well, here's the thing too, is not only condors, these are eagles attacking a grown man at this point.
A grown man and condors that are flying.
And talking to his condor buddies. Wow. So the eagles, I guess, just scratch him really bad, man. And
Will Eisner, you're a genius.
And he just completely crashes back down to earth, right?
Yeah. About time.
Where he is rescued by a hermit named Father Pierre.
This kid he's very lucky.
He is super lucky.
Yeah.
Father Pierre basically knows all of his story by the time he crashes. There is no explanation that he gives to Father Pierre. Obviously he can't. He speaks bird. So, but
yes, my son.
He in the panels it just shows him like fall and Father Pierre go pick him up, and within 3 panels he's like, I know you've been living with condors. So I don't know if Father Pierre...
Is that an insult?
I don't know if Father Pierre is just sitting there in his hut just watching this condor family.
Yeah.
And he's like, one day that man bird is going to fall down and I'm going to have to take care of him.
That's fantastic. I love that.
So Father Pierre knows all about Richard's situation at this point.
Now, when we say Father Pierre and we say hermit and all this, is he like a priest father, monk father?
He's dressed like a monk.
Dressed like a monk. That's what I expected. Yeah. It is Mongolia.
It is.
Still, I guess.
He's dressed like a monk up in the Mongolian hills all by himself.
Right.
So Father Pierre takes Richard in to care for him, right? Because he fell. He's got to mend him back up.
Right.
He can't speak English. So what does Father Pierre decide to call him? Well, you fly with the condors and you have black hair, so you're Black Condor.
That is it's spot on.
It is.
Honestly, Father Pierre is a genius.
Father Pierre is the one who names our hero here.
Why overcomplicate it?
No, exactly. It's just like your hair's black and you fly with condors, Black Condor.
Soaring man of condor blackness.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you could really try to like drag it out, but
But no, Father Pierre was like, let's just get to the point.
Man. He should work for like Ford or something, naming their cars.
Purple.
Purple. Purple go.
That's a joke within our house. Is that the new Apple iPhone commercial? Have you seen it?
Mm-hmm. The one where they're bathing it in purple.
Yeah, and then but the tagline's just purple.
Okay, so this is an aside, and I'm sorry, it has nothing to do with comics. But when in the hell did it become a thing where I'm putting out a brand new phone? Hey, but this time it's purple, and everybody goes, "Oh my God, how did they do that?"
I don't know.
When I was a kid, there was one color.
Yeah.
Literally one color. We had beige. That was it. Beige everything.
No. Oh, all of our home phones were beige for sure.
It's all beige.
Yeah. Even the one with like the little rotary dial, that was beige too.
I want my beige cell phone. But I'm just saying they ran out of things to innovate one day and they went, colors, I guess. Why not textures?
Hey.
This one feels like a brick.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where they're going next.
Sure.
I'll buy that iPhone Brick X.
I think you have.
So after taking care of him and healing him back up,
And he learns to speak English flawlessly, you say.
I do. In 1 year. We fast forward a year, and the man who has taught himself how to fly and how to speak Condor speaks flawless English.
Mm-hmm.
If you look through, I know that obviously if you look for English speakers, like the toughest languages are, Mandarin,
Condor.
Arab. Yeah, Condor should be on there. Arabic, things like some of the tougher ones.
Yeah.
But if you're a non-English speaker, English
is the toughest one, yeah. Mm-hmm.
not for Richard. He teaches, but I mean, we should have seen that
English
coming.
makes
though.
no sense.
He taught himself how to fly, and he can speak to birds. English was easy for him, probably.
Yeah, I guess so.
So
somebody should have put some cancer in front of him and said, "Figure this out."
He could have.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I don't know if eventually, once he comes back to America, if maybe he got fat and happy. But at this point,
sure.
So he goes out on a fly one day because even though he's living with. And no, he's not getting in his jet. He's just like, all right, I'm going to run off this cliff. I'll be back later,
See ya,
Father Pierre.
Flap.
Exactly.
Flap.
So, and here's the thing is when they animate it in the cells, is he's not flapping his arms. It's just like hold out straight. So he's just gliding everywhere.
He just
technically.
glides.
It's called flight, but
It's creepy.
he comes back to find that Father Pierre has been attacked by Ghali Khan's raiders. Which
Ghali
we find
Khan.
out, I think apparently are the same raiders that killed his.
I went to Ghali Khan like in 2018. It wasn't a really great convention, but
Really?
yeah.
Yeah, that's the name. And it seems like a lot of times, especially back in the 40s, is when they do anything foreign, there are tones that are just like non-PC tones and all of this.
Absolutely.
So like the name Ghali, everybody in Mongolia has something Khan in their name.
Yeah.
Because it's the comics in the 1940s.
Sure.
But so he comes back and sees that Ghali Khan has attacked Father Pierre, and Father Pierre ends up dying.
Oh, no.
But you know what? Richard can't deal with that. He decides that he's going to use his gift of flight to aid man. That's what he
Just
says.
not this man.
He goes, I'm going to use my gift of flight to aid man.
Yeah.
I know they have airplanes, but I'm going to use my gift of flight.
Me. People can climb on me. I'll take them places.
So, and I just have this as a tidbit because it was the rest of the first issue, but I mean, he just hunts down and kills everybody responsible. So he's a cold-blooded condor.
A cold-blooded condor, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I would assume that he had seen that from his family. I don't think condors are like, putting people in jail, putting other birds in bird prison. I think they're probably killing the other things too.
That's probably true. But I feel like that's just because there's not like an animal penitentiary system or
yet.
Judicial system.
Not yet.
I would watch Animal Court.
Animal Court. Ooh, I like that.
What's Judge Judy doing? So
You say he stole your nuts.
I'm laughing because
Yeah. For those of you who can't see, I'm using something called a testicuzzi. It literally is a place for you to put your testicles in, lay your member on a little padded area, and then you turn it on and it bubbles around your testicles. It's never been used, but it was the only thing around for me to use as a
phone stand.
Yeah,
But,
it's working great.
But the logo is a squirrel.
Little squirrel.
Yeah, and so that's why I couldn't help it. But I told you about how when he flies into battle that he's able to send condors to attack enemies.
Right.
Basically, he spends the first 10 issues of Black Condor because there's only about 31 issues for the first one here.
Gosh, you would have thought they could drug this out longer.
Oh, you would have. But so first 10 issues, he's just fighting crime across Asia. That's basically all he does.
Can you imagine being that kid who's like, which superhero do you like? I like Batman. I like Spider-Man. How about you, Bobby? I love Black Condor. Idiot. Get
The
out of
thing
here.
is like they read it and they're like, come on, Bobby. And then it gets canceled 31
Yeah.
issues. And they're like, how's that Black Condor
How's that
doing?
Black Condor
huh?
treating you there, Bobby?
Hey, I just picked up my new Batman. Did you get your new Black Condor? Oh,
Put your arms out and fly, Bobby. Come on.
poor Bobby.
Where's your condor, Mom?
So after the 10 issues, I guess they got tired of just having him in like Asia.
Sure.
So he comes back to the United
Well, he
States.
solved all the crime.
Oh, he did.
Solved all the Asian
It took him
crime.
10 issues.
Yeah.
And Asia is like heaven on earth.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but Asia is only 10 issues wide.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. That makes totally sense.
Oh, okay. So he decides to come back to the U.S. to start a new life.
Sure.
And in a weird twist of fate.
As a trout.
Oh, my goodness. No, well, he can't fly. He's gonna live here as a bald eagle now. He winds up
That
stumbling.
way they can't shoot me.
That's true.
Yeah.
And maybe the other eagles won't attack me then,
Right,
like
sure,
they did
sure.
before.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
stumbles.
I didn't even think about that. There's no way he joined in with those bastards, the Eagles.
No.
Yeah.
No, he's not even a Philadelphia Eagles
You
fan
think he
at this
like
point.
twitched every? Yeah. You think he like twitched every time somebody says Glenn Fry or? Yes.
He's like, hey, Hotel California, stop it.
I will have my revenge.
Or
Or
whatever in Condor. I can't. That's closer than I could have gotten. So he winds up stumbling upon an accident scene involving U.S. Senator Thomas Wright.
okay.
Basically, what happens is
Wait, is this a real senator or is it just a comic?
no,
book
it's a
senator?
comic book senator.
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, I didn't go back and look, but I just assumed it was a
Well, I'm
comic
just
book
saying.
senator.
Yeah.
I mean, they did that later, like in the 2000s and stuff. They would have like the actual presidents,
yeah.
you know.
Or you save Obama from falling in a hole.
Yeah,
or
like I'm
something.
pretty sure
Yeah.
he was in an episode of or an issue of Spider-Man and stuff.
Right.
But back in the 1940s,
Politicians weren't falling in holes back then.
no.
Right.
In this case, Thomas Wright, our senator here, was thrown from a speeding car
Oh.
by a henchman and fellow politician named Jasper Crow. Because
subtle.
everything needs
subtle.
to be bird puns in this.
Jasper Crow.
Jasper Crow, who is also a fellow politician, he wants to stop Thomas Wright from casting an important vote on basically
Had all those Jasper Crow laws. When that's what it was. I don't know why these two guys are in a car together and one of them throws the other one out of the car. How does that even happen?
It's his henchmen. Like
Yeah.
they kidnapped the senator, and
How do you hire a henchman?
that's
Like, is
never
that a Craigslist
explained.
thing?
I think it now.
Looking for henchmen.
Now it'd have to be.
Hmm.
I think back in the day, like henchmen just kind of waited. In this instance, probably just waited outside
Well, this was 40s, right?
the Senate, and they were like, "Hey, you need a henchman? Hey, you need a henchman?
It was that day's version of the Home Depot.
Yeah,
Just henchmen everywhere
There's
outside.
henchmen for
6
senators."
a.m. in the morning.
And he's like, "You know what? I have this bill that needs to be passed so I can tax the mess out of these
How
people.
many of you can hench?
How do you feel about killing other senators?" So the henchman throws Senator Thomas Wright out of the moving car.
Yeah.
That was their idea for killing him, by the way. Not,
Well, I guess
hey,
this was
let's
before
shoot him.
seatbelts and things like that too, though, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
still, guns were around.
Well, sure.
Knives were around.
Yeah.
Any
They
other
weren't as
implement
sharp.
of death.
I don't think knives were as sharp in the 40s.
Well, I feel like if you stabbed him enough, though, still, even with a blunt.
Sure. It just hurt a lot more because they were blunt.
Oh, stop it.
Oh, quit it. Oh, there it goes.
If you would have just waited 20 years, this would have been sharper. So, Black Condor. I'm just going to call him Black Condor now to
Sure.
make this part easier,
Right.
and you'll see why. So, Black Condor comes up to Senator Thomas Wright, who's dying in his arms,
Right.
and he notices,
Hey,
You know-
you're dying.
hey, you're dying, but I look a lot like you.
Oh, man, come on. Is that where we're going?
That's exactly where we're going.
Shit.
So he shows up to Senate to vote as Senator Thomas Wright.
My God, he's committing a felony.
Jasper Crow's like, "What's going on? We killed him."
I'm Jasper Crow. What
Yeah.
happened? My henchmen suck.
But Thomas Wright votes against him, and his bill doesn't pass. He saved
One
the
vote.
day.
One vote did it.
He's the swing vote.
That just shows you, kids, your vote makes a difference,
It does.
especially if you're pretending to be somebody else.
Here's the great part of it, though. Senator Wright dies from injuries. And
What does he do with him?
Richard just assumes his body. It's not brought up. I have to think that he died in his arms.
Yeah.
And before he went to cast the vote, Black Condor's like, "What do I do with the body?"
Yeah. I mean, he's not driving.
No,
He doesn't have a plane.
I would think it'd be hard to fly with another human.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you don't have a trunk.
I like to think he just found a bush and dropped him behind it. And then
It's a rock. He put him behind a rock.
rock.
Just a
The
bigger
cops will
rock.
never
Yeah.
find it.
Cops will never look behind this rock.
It dampens the sound.
Sure. It dampens the murder.
So, yeah, it's never explained there. He's just, Black Condor is now Senator Thomas Wright. He's a senator by day, crime fighter by night.
Oh, my God. Zach, you did a hell of a job on this because
Thank
this
you.
is ridiculous.
Thank you. Oh, and Mike, we have so many more of these.
Okay.
And I just absolutely love this. I haven't mentioned through all of this yet, Mike, and there's a picture at the bottom that I included in here
Oh, that looks like my senator.
for you to scroll through.
Yeah, he has no shirt.
But you see the other thing that's missing? He's fighting crime without a mask.
Oh, that's true.
He just has a cape.
He's fighting on top of Uncle Sam's head, it looks like.
Yeah, I don't know. I just cut this from the cell, but there is
And
something
who's the
going
little
on.
bitty guy?
Plastic Man?
Pulling on his cape?
But
Yeah.
as you can see, no mask whatsoever.
No mask. His cape is like a cowl around his neck only, and then attaches at the wrists. And it's a very small cape.
It is.
Like it's not a full Batman type cape. It looks more like bat wings
yeah.
or condor wings, I guess.
Well, and it seems like it would always like go or like he's knocking stuff off with that cape.
Yeah. This is a guy you don't want to invite to a party.
I bring that up though because he's a famous state senator.
Yeah. There goes my senator.
Everybody knows who it is that's
Love
attacking
this
him.
guy. Oh, no. Look at the top. It says Black Condor, Doll Man. So that's Doll Man that's pulling down.
Oh, see
on
the
this
ray?
thing.
There's
Yeah.
the ray. Okay, so
Doll Man. That's one of my favorites.
here's the last point that I wanted to cover
Sure.
for Black Condor. And to me, this is so ridiculous. So another thing that should be noted, the real Thomas Wright, he was engaged when all this happened. So Richard's now Thomas Wright. You would think that maybe he would explain, hey, I'm not your fiance after all. Nope.
He just
He just
showed up.
steals his fiance.
Hey, baby, I'm
He
home.
steals his fiance. All the fiance knows is that, hey, he's less of a coward now.
And he can fly.
No, that's not even, it's just like, hey, he grew backbone. You know what? That's got to be my guy.
Oh, my
Never
God.
questions it. It's just one point where the senator gets kidnapped is it shows him just like sitting in his chair, like worrying about the vote. And she's just yelling at him to basically grow a pair.
Grow a bear, Richard.
Yeah. Thomas.
Thomas.
So
I don't even know your name. I'm so mad at you.
So now after Black Condor comes in and pretends to be him and votes for him, she's like, he did it. I'm
Yeah.
set. My husband's great. The best part of this too.
You know, I want to be at that wedding though. Like, you know, you have the groom side and it's just all birds on one side of the room.
I don't know how he would explain that off.
I
It's like,
bet-
no, I'm not Black Condor. Then why are all these condors
You
here?
know how you have to choose like what you're going to eat, chicken or fish? It was all fish on
was
that one side. It was all fish.
So
We don't have enough fish.
yeah, she never picks up that he's a different person. And also to make it even creepier, her father, Wendy is his new fiance's name. Wendy's father, Dr. Foster,
Dr.
knows that it's Richard and not Thomas.
He does. How does he know this? Like
But
he just looks at him?
he just lies and covers up. For
Like
his-
he's the rest of the people in the world that just can look at him and go, that's not the same
he's
dude?
the only one. Well, it's because he's a doctor.
Oh, yeah. He said all
He's
that
like,
training.
I'm smart.
Sure.
I can tell you're not who
Sure.
you say you are. But instead of, my daughter that I care about being engaged to somebody who I have no idea who it is now, I'm just going to lie and let it keep going on. And so,
There's so many problems with this story, from the flight to the baby in the rock to the monk that just up and dies to I'm just going to stick my arms out and go straight up. But the biggest problem to me is this costume. This costume is just horrific.
it's bad.
It is.
It does not strike fear into evildoers' hearts at all.
He looks like he's looking for his dominatrix. Where'd she go?
What I am going to, I'll just pull it up real quick. The new Black Condor,
Yeah.
and they've never gotten better. So this is the one from 1992, and it's just not that much better at all.
Oh, I don't know, man. I think that is a lot better. At least he's got wings.
That
But
okay.
he's still wearing that S&M suit.
Yeah, he's still got the strap and the long pants. My favorite, the third one that gets the powers from the Mayan.
You know you're in trouble when Hawkman looks better than you do.
Yeah, the third one who gets his powers from the Mayan spider goddess. He looks a little bit more, for lack of a better term, badass.
Yeah, that does look better.
It's all black and white. He actually has condor wings. He has some face paint.
and he's a black guy, which you kind of assume when you hear the name.
Hispanic.
You know? Oh, he's Hispanic?
Yeah, John
Oh,
Trujillo. Trujillo.
he looks black in that.
Yeah,
Huh.
no, but
Okay.
it's John Trujillo.
Oh, now I see it. Okay.
I mean,
I got you.
So
He does look bad though. I mean, he looks so much better there.
he does. The newest one looks
This is
like he
just-
could kick ass. This guy looks like let's bring it full circle. We started talking about Zack Snyder. He
Yeah.
looks like at the beginning of Watchmen where they have the scenes where they're bringing in all the old superheroes.
Yes.
He'd be one of the ones that they brought
he
in.
would definitely would be. This is a guy who enjoys S&M. He is a guy that wears thigh-high boots. Lot of pomade.
Oh
in the
yeah,
hair.
no, his hair does not move while he fights.
Yeah, chiseled dude though.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
he's got some muscles.
he
I guess
probably-
you would if you're flying.
oh, and he probably developed a fantastic workout regimen since he's so smart.
Sure.
I don't get the thing. He has like a breastplate in a way, but it ends before it covers his shoulders, and it only comes
think that's the
down to
cape.
his chest. Is that part
I
of
think
the
that's just
cape?
part of the cape. Yeah, like I say, that's just a cowl.
Then it's an
around his
even worse
neck.
cape than I thought before.
Yeah, this cape is so weird. Like it goes around your neck and gives you basically a bib.
Yes,
You
he
know,
has a crime-fighting bib.
It's a crime-fighting bib, and then it goes to your back, and it connects somehow in your back, I
Out to
guess.
his
Otherwise,
arms.
well, I'm saying if it's just around your neck that way, you're choking yourself every time.
Oh,
but
yeah,
maybe
well,
that's his kink. Maybe that's where the S&M gear comes in. He likes to choke himself while he's flying.
So maybe it's like a two-prong approach then? Like he gets
Maybe.
to fight crime and he...
Right. Yeah, and he
Yeah.
solves his own personal crime puzzle.
his own mysteries. He
No,
solves-
he's still got some mysteries. I
Well,
promise you. Yeah.
So that is the basis for Black Condor. Again, the first one. 2 or 3, you're probably, if you want to read about some Black Condor
who
or
wouldn't
follow
at
some
this point,
stories.
right?
Yeah. Like there was 31 issues back in the day. So there's not a lot of story there. Granted, just like a lot of these, I'm only going to focus on some of the bigger, more ridiculous parts. If you want to take a deep dive, feel free to. There's other things in there. I'm not going to completely lay everything out because if we get a big character, I mean, I don't think Mike and I feel like doing like a 3-4 hour show when we get somebody who has a lot. So
This is a lot better. I really enjoyed this, Zach. This is a stupid character.
I will tease for the future just so people kind of know what we have coming up in the next couple episodes. I have 2 that I'll let you know. We're going to break away from this with one that I found who I think is super interesting and actually kind of cool.
Okay.
Where we're going to have, like I talked about, we're going to have those characters.
So it's
that-
not always going to be a stupid character.
It's not
like
always
this,
going to be stupid, but let's be honest, probably for the most part it will be, because after that one, which is, by the way, the name makes you think that it's going to be a stupid character.
Yeah.
His villain, we're going to do a villain next, and it's called Humpty Dumpty is his villain name, but his real name is Humphrey Dumpler.
Humphrey Dumpler.
Humphrey
Sure.
Dumpler.
Yeah.
The most saddest.
Is this a Batman villain?
It is a
Because
Batman
it sounds
villain.
like a Batman villain.
It is a
yeah.
Batman villain. Funny enough,
Humpty Dumpty.
Funny enough, I'll tease this for you. It's not big, but there is a small little Breaking Bad connection with the character.
Really? Ooh.
Also, the saddest single page of comics I think I've read.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, man.
And it's not even like anything shown. It's just the events that happen and you're just like crushed.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I get to
Much like
explain
Humpty
that.
Dumpty was. Sure.
I get to explain that. And then also after that, we're going to get back into just the ridiculous. I already have another hero for us. Dog Welder.
Dog Welder. Yeah.
He was
I've never heard of either one of these.
see, and that's
But
the goal here.
don't tell me any. Yeah,
No,
don't tell
I'm
me
not.
anything.
I'm just if anybody knows
Love going into this blind. This is great.
exactly, I feel like that's what makes this so much better. If anybody's a fan of Garth Ennis, they might know of Dog Welder, or just if you know Garth Ennis in general. So, Preacher, he did The Boys. He did
that guy.
Yeah, you can expect some weird characters.
I
coming
never
up.
read The Boys, but that show is fantastic.
I love the
Yeah,
show.
it's really
I'm
good.
so ready for season 3. That's actually might be my favorite.
I mean, it's no Golly Khan, but still.
No, it's not. So there we go. That's Black Condor. Oh, Hellblazer is also something Garth Ennis did with like John Constantine and stuff. That was another one I was going to. So that was Black Condor.
All of Seth Rogen's future projects.
Yes, yes. Garth Ennis is somebody that Seth Rogen definitely loves to work on doing that material. So there we go. I feel like it's a nice look into one of the. I do have to add my very last note in the Black Condor page. I just put the golden age of comics is fantastic.
It is fantastic. I love that.
And-
everybody has either like a helmet or like wings on their feet or something, just something goofy like that.
And there's a good chance we're going to get more of the Golden Age. So as fun and crazy as it was, that is our episode for today in Black Condor.
That was great.
Well, thank you.
I really enjoyed that. If anybody wants to reach us or read show notes or anything, basically we put all of that stuff on Instagram. We are at BroFoHero on Instagram, and we'll throw a picture of this horny man out there. And I guess join us next time.
Yeah.
For the golden age of stupidity.
This has been Bros, Foes, and Heroes, and we look forward to catching you next time.
Absolutely.
Bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.
Gallican!